We are going to be talking through tonight's, what is it, a 6-game slate? Yeah, it's a 6-gamer, but I guess it is. For some reason, I only wanted to count 5. Well, it'll be live at 7:30 Eastern, just as a reminder. So I will be live at 6:30 Eastern. Sheets will not be here tonight, but we're ready to get into it. I had a rough first day back. I was expecting something better, especially because all my lucky numbers were aligned and all the weird universe stuff that I believe in, which I had very little. Was supposed to link up for me. I had ex-girlfriends telling me this is your lucky day, and nothing good happened for me. So I'm ready to move on to today. Just put it behind you. Sheets, you had a decent day.
I did. I'll go over that. It was a big buy-in, solid day across the board. I cashed in the FanDuel Monster, the DraftKings Mega 888, and the FanDuel 444. And the DraftKings 444 hockey. So didn't threaten to win any of them really, but kind of solid performances. If you want, I'll share my lineup. I did a good job of whining about Darius Garland. I did a really strong job about that. Like at halftime, I posted something on Twitter, basically like.
Oh, I did it in the third quarter. Great.
Oh yeah, I whined at halftime, and then he scored 40 in the second half or whatever it was.
He scored like 20 at the last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah, so I did a really, really nice job on that. And the rest of the lineup was just kind of standard. I did get Herbert Jones at 44 fantasy points. Nobody really played him actually. So that was.
He was in all my original builds, and then I took him out when I heard the news.
Yeah. And FanDuel, I did pretty decent. I had some Utah guys. I had Kuzma in that one. That was good. I had Kuzma at 1% on FanDuel in that one. So that was what I did over there. And ready to get after today. As I mentioned earlier, okay, so here's a couple of relevant announcements. So I'm not going to be around for live, which means also that my projections are not going to be updated as well. So you'll have to go with the SaberSim projections or Goldie's if he puts them up.
Goldie's will be up every day, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, great. And the other thing is that got all kinds of content to announce. So I put up the MMA betting breakdown just now. And so tomorrow, I'm going to have 3 things in a row. I don't know if I'm going to do them all live, but I'm going to do an MMA lineup construction video. And then at 10 o'clock tomorrow, I'm going to be handling Brandon Cruz's NASCAR stuff. So he's actually at the race in Atlanta. So I'm going to be going from 10 to 11. I'm going to go through both the Xfinity and the truck race for tomorrow. And I encourage anybody who's really good at NASCAR to get in there and kind of help out, you know what I mean, with the substantive takes a little bit. I'm going to prepare, but, listen, I'm not as good at that as some other sports. And I'm going to go through lineup construction and things like that. We have a good, solid bunch of guys in there. You should see what the Discord looks like. They're going over stuff. I have no idea what they're even freaking talking about, like all through this stuff in there. So hopefully those guys will
I've been checking it out. Yeah, I've been monitoring it.
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. So everybody be on the lookout for that.
Yep. All right. Well, with all that said, let's get into it. I do want to remind guys, please do like and subscribe. Check out our stuff at TrueDFS.com if you're interested in being a member. We have some pretty good deals going on. So I'm going to post the member thing up real quick. But let's get into the game. Sheets, why don't we pull up your screen?
Oh, I have another announcement, by the way. We have there are two slates tonight. There's a 6-gamer that's at 7:30, and then there is actually kind of a semi-full 4-gamer at 10 p.m. If I'm back in time for that, I might fire something off live for that. I don't think I'm gonna get back in time, but if I do, I'm gonna totally do it. I'm gonna play one lineup in it anyway, just something to sweat when I get back. But there are 4 full games. Now we're not gonna go over that today, right now. But just it's a full enough slate where I think it does warrant at least a little bit of attention.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I'll post my exposures and stuff for that slate as well later on, and I'll touch on it on live if anybody wants to go over it.
Okay, so I got to share my screen here. Let's see.
Okay, so I'm going to go to over here and get ready here. So I'm going to guess the first game is Toronto-Atlanta?
It is.
Yeah, I got it. Oh, I had to go out of order for the SaberSim thing to get it, but it still got there. All right, Sheets, what do you got here?
Well, I already deleted it, but my initial build of my one lineup actually has DeJounte Murray in it. So that's the one thing. And what else? R.J. Barrett at 6,900. He looks pretty reasonable. Gary Trent at 4,300. Jakob Pertl at 6,200. All these guys, Quickly, Barnes, they're all kind of these mid-range prices. And so far, the board doesn't look like it's got all kinds of great value. So yeah, I kind of like these mid-rangers. So I'll go with that. I'll go with Murray, and then any or all those Toronto guys I mentioned.
Yeah, so I think that on the Toronto side, like the Grady Dick thing didn't work out yesterday. It still is like a very thinnish thing, but like he's going to get minutes at certain points, and I just don't know when that part of the season. I thought it would be after the All-Star break. He'd start looking at like the 24, 26 minute range. Maybe he will even, but we still got him around 21. The value there is kind of interesting. It's hard for me with Toronto. Again, this feels to me a lot like what I was saying about the Utah thing, and I felt very accurate about that yesterday. There is just no way when 7 guys project well that's ever a good idea. It's a smaller slate today, so we don't have as much to choose from. I'm not that excited. It's a great matchup for them. Scotty Barnes on back-to-back nights, they did get a little, they blew him out, so they didn't have to play the entire game, I guess. Quickly, I'm trying to decide which ones. I guess I have it ranked Barnes, Quickly, Barrett, but it's really close between those 3. And everyone else is just sort of completely up in the air. You have the similar price, Bruce Brown and Gary Trent and Kelly Olynyk. Podol on a back-to-back used to be a bad sign, and now I don't know what it is because he only played like 25 minutes, 26 minutes last night, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. So I'm having a little bit of trouble with the Toronto side of it, but I definitely think you want to have interest in this game because it's a great spot. But I'm struggling with who that is. I think as of right now, I feel the best about Barnes and DeJounte Murray. I'm a little concerned that this Murray thing is – I love DeJounte Murray as a real player and everything, but it's just interesting that chalky DeJounte Murray, when there's nothing that stands out about the situation going on. It's just the normal exactly what Atlanta plays every day. So we're just saying that it's a misprice, which I can buy, but I think I actually like Jalen Johnson just as much. So Jalen Johnson, Murray, and then Barnes, Barrett, and Quickly on the other side. But I'll have that figured out a little bit better later. This was actually the situation I struggled with the most.
So here's a question, that's a trivia question that people can ponder while we're going through this. And the question is, what do the Memphis Grizzlies and the Miami Heat have in common tonight? We'll get to it when we get there. So think about that. What do the Memphis Grizzlies and the Miami Heat have in common? All right, so we'll go ahead to Cleveland, Philadelphia.
All right.
All right, so Donovan Mitchell didn't play yesterday, even though he was present in the morning shoot-arounds. Could be that it was just, if he didn't feel so well and was back-to-back, they'll rest him for one night. So obviously that's the main news to be determined here, is whether he plays. And if he doesn't play, then those
don't
other guys. What's that?
So if he doesn't play, don't play him. I'm just kidding.
Right. If he doesn't play, don't play him. And if he doesn't play, then the same guys from yesterday, Garland and Mobley, look to be really, really good. Now they both got kind of price bumps. Garland up to 6,300 and Mobley up to 7K. I still have a feeling they're going to rate decently, though. And then I think if Mitchell does play, I have to see. I don't even have a projection on him yet. I guess I'll just have to see what he looks like. I can't imagine him being a bad play. I don't know. Philly on the other side, I'm not really seeing too much right now. I don't know. Maxey was having a good game, and then he had a good game. He did have a good game. He ended up with like 50. Yeah, he did get 50. Okay, I remember he had 40 at going into the fourth, I think. Okay, good. So he did have a good game. So yeah, I guess that's fine. Not too much from Philly though. You like anything in this game?
I'm assuming Mitchell. It's an illness, whatever. We'll see. I don't know what to do with illnesses these days. These seem to be pretty serious, where they're actually golfers leaving tournaments now for them. So,
who left?
Tiger.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to scare me with one of my guys from today. Okay.
No, it was last week. But like Tiger, but apparently Spieth was actually really sick also, which is why he didn't mind the scorecard thing. And
okay. That's right.
Apparently Cantlay had like a 102 or 101 temperature on.
Really?
On
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, there was like a lot of stuff talked about. I've been listening to so many podcasts, man. All right, on the Cleveland side, assuming that everybody plays, really my only interest level is probably Mobley, maybe Jared Allen. Mobley, Allen, and Garland are all fine. I think that they're all decent. I actually think that I might even consider going back to Garland after he struggled last night, even with Mitchell back. I don't think I would get to Mitchell under any circumstances. I don't think, but I love the idea of playing Maxey. So I'm probably I may end up with some. Maxey right now I have as an ultra priority play. I'm just going to keep mentioning this, guys, like just because it's not necessarily going to work out every single time, but it works out almost every time. And even when he doesn't like all the way get there, he really is getting there. Like of all the games, it's taken like really weird situations without Embiid for him to not get there. And he's averaging overall, I think he's averaging about 47 or 48, but there is a monster ceiling. We've seen some 60s without Embiid. So I'm just going to keep buying into that whole thing. A little tough matchup again, back to back, and it was a tough matchup last night against the Knicks, and he still put up 50. So I really like Maxey as a spend up. He's my priority from this game. And then I'm just trying to decide what I want to do. I think that what I'm probably going to do is go back to Mobley and Garland, at least to some extent. Whether Mitchell plays, if Mitchell doesn't play, you're talking about maybe trying to find a way to avoid like 90% shock. But if he does play, these guys are not going to be overly owned. So I'm definitely interested in both of them.
So needless to say, we talk about the Clippers, Memphis. This was not the return to OKC that Westbrook was envisioning. 1 for 9 with 16 minutes last night. I don't think I played him, so that's good news. So in this game,
1 for 9, that's weird. At one point, he was 1 for 11 on the thing I was looking at. So it's weird that somehow they took 2 shots away from him. Hey, better for you.
Yeah, we'll take it.
I'm
getting Zubac as a strong play from the Clippers, and that's pretty much all I'm getting from this game in total. So with Memphis, I will just say what it is. Memphis and Miami are the only 2 teams of the 12 playing tonight who are not on a back-to-back. So,
yeah, I was gonna guess something like that, but I thought I didn't put together in time.
Yeah, Memphis and Miami, the only 2 teams not on a back-to-back. So there's back-to-back risk, I guess, whatever that means, across the board, and just something to keep in mind. But I'm not really getting too much on Memphis here. As I'm going through this slate looks kind of awful.
Yeah, it's not the most fun. I kind of wish we had the 10 o'clock games a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Zubac looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if the Clippers do anything. We've gotten used to them this year actually playing their guys on back-to-back. I mean, these guys have played a lot of games. All the guys who were known for missing games kind of been playing games. It is interesting. I just get a little annoyed. You can get Zubac last night at 0 ownership, and meanwhile people played Kessler at like 28%, who ended up coming off the bench or whatever it was. I don't even know what percentage he had.
He didn't start?
No, he didn't start. And Zubac, of course, did it exactly like I said. I think we're supposed to play Zubac over Kessler. Kessler, I think, had 4 fantasy points. Zubac at 33. I don't really understand. I don't like the chase feeling of it. But Memphis is another team that can't rebound, and it's really hard not to have Zubac as potentially even a priority on this slate, to be honest with you. The thing that you worry about with Zubac is he doesn't play a lot down the stretch in close games, and he also doesn't play a lot of the blowout run. It's a strange thing that they've been playing the Plumlee role, down the stretch, or they've just gone small. So you do have some risk with Zubac's minutes are always in flux. He's being projected at 31.5 minutes. I think betting the under is almost like a lock on that. I still like him. But I think he's a.
Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Zubac?
Zubac.
For what it's worth, I have him at 29.25.
Okay, I'm reading the SaberSim projection.
Yeah.
But so there you go. I agree with the 29.25. I think I'll take the under on that probably too. I think 27 would be 27, 28 is more likely. But either way, I think he's a decent enough play. And of course, the minutes could always trend the other direction. Terrence Mann is not a guy I would usually consider, but small slate, not a lot of value options that aren't obvious. So Terrence Mann is one that I thought of. The Memphis side, man, I feel like it's supposed to be more than just potentially Jaren Jackson, but I don't think it is for me. Maybe maybe Gigi Jackson. So I'm just going to put the Jacksons as a potential with a question mark, but it's a tough slate. I mean, there's not a lot I really love that we've touched on yet.
Well, to give you an idea, I'm just checking something for a second. Oh, by the way, even though I looked at it, I didn't do it anyway. Let the record reflect that Josh Hart did have 12 rebounds in 44 minutes. Are you kidding me?
He played 44 yesterday?
44 minutes.
So this is the kind of thing that I was mentioning, though, about these players going back to where they played in school or where they're from and stuff. I'm telling you, that game was a 20-point game. You know what I mean? You telling me you couldn't find an extra 4 minutes?
He had 18 real-life points.
Yeah. I played it.
He must have had like 50 fantasy points.
Yeah.
18, 12, and 3, maybe not 50, but 18, 12, 3, 1 block even. Wow. Anyway.
But it's no streak with him. This is what I was saying. The guy's a tremendous rebounder. And the problem is with what's his name back, 8.5 is not going to be a lock every day. But I don't care that it didn't work. It's going to happen like 75% of the time when you lose when you lose Hartenstein and before Precious was starting, that was the easiest money of all time.
Well, I was looking here. So Hartenstein, he played 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Did he get hurt?
He was on a very strict minutes restriction, they said. I don't know what the situation was, though. Oh, well, Precious was going nuts. I don't know.
Yeah, Precious played 38 minutes. He had 18 and 11 of his own.
No, I understand. Wolf, can I say one thing? Because Wolf's got to take it over the chat here. Hey, man, no, I totally understand what you're saying. I'm not. I know he beat Sheets rebounds prop stick. When I say something on air, I'm not referring to something in chat. I just want to make that clear. Sometimes, unless I referred back to it, because I think sometimes if there's a misunderstanding, people are like, "No, I meant this. No, I meant this." I'm like, "No, I wasn't correcting anybody. I was just talking through the slate." Where is this Knicks stuff coming from, Sheets?
I'm looking at the NBA box score. No.
No. I meant where. What stirred up the conversation? Because they're not playing tonight.
Oh, nothing. Nothing. I was talking about I was thinking of like prop bets. I was thinking that the Josh Hart thing. So I was just thinking about it. That was all.
I got you. I'm sorry. My bad. I thought for some reason I was like, am I missing? Am I like? Do I
not?
No.
I'm just doing my thing where I just like kind of stray off of topic. That was all.
Gotcha.
Not a big deal.
No, my bad.
So right. I'll give you an idea. I'll give you a taste of how bad the slate is. Right. So the slate looks so bad. It's like a match game. How bad is it? The slate is so bad that my top values are Washington guys, and I'm getting 3 of them in my main lineup, and they're playing on a back-to-back in a game where they're going to probably lose by 40, and like nobody's out. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what this is looking like. So like Tyus Jones is my top point per dollar play on the slate, and then you have Koulibaly, Kuzma, Avdia, Bagley. They're all looking decent. And I'm getting Kispert in my first buy-in, in my first lineup. That's how bad the slate is. That you're getting they're going to lose by 30, and I'm getting 3 of them in the same line. That's how bad it is. I like Jalen Williams on the OKC side at 7,200, and I'm just kind of glad I'm going out to dinner. That's it.
Yeah. For what it's worth, the Nuggets minus 15 definitely cashed yesterday. Could have been a lot worse. It was 20, so it was actually a little bit of a sweat. But it could have easily been 40. It was just they had a bad start to the third quarter. I don't know what – this is a tough one. I am going to have a very hard time believing anything that Washington's going to be able to stay close in any way here. I love Koulibaly. I think that's my favorite play. And I wouldn't be surprised if some shenanigans happen. You said it's interesting – SaberSim hates Trey Jones, and everybody else in the industry seems to love him.
Tyus Jones?
Tyus Jones, excuse me. Not his brother, Trey. I'm a little nervous about this one for these guys. This
for sure.
Like an absolute smashing that they're going to take on. However, if they don't, these guys are going to have to get there. Like, I think Koulibaly is the play. You definitely always play Koulibaly over Kispert, in my opinion, if they're the same price. I think Bagley is probably in play either way. This is another really tough situation to analyze. I'm probably going to end up with at least one Washington. I think it's probably going to be Koulibaly, but I don't know that I want to eat into all this other stuff. I don't think that this is the spot. I think Trey Jones is too cheap in general, but I think this is just a tough matchup. Like his role seems to have changed for what it's worth. I keep saying Trey Jones, Tyus Jones. On the other side, I'd be interested in the blowout run guys. Give me a little bit of Isaiah Joe, and give me a little bit of Kason Wallace, and then Jalen Williams, as you mentioned earlier. He plays really well in these blowout games. I think I'll skip the Shea today for me personally, but I like the Isaiah Joe, and I like the Koulibaly are my initial thoughts from this game. Of
the reason why the Tyus Jones keeps getting ownership again, like last night, when I was talking about him, I liked him yesterday. He's put up freaking 14 assists in a blowout. You know what I mean? Like 31 minutes, 38 fantasy points, which is perfectly
awesome.
Good at 100. You know, like in only 31 minutes, he's got upside from there. But it's a back-to-back, and they have to somehow keep it close. So it's going to be rough, like you said.
Back-to-back, yeah. It's going to be tough. But you know what? They have looked a little more competent since they started actually like, okay, we're actually not just going to play everybody 10 minutes. Do you know who might be the play, though, if you're gonna go for one today? Actually, this might be the play of the day. Let's think about this for a second. So you had the absolute nut low game of all time from Denny Avdia. 6,800. He played less minutes. Can we get a little Denny Avdia love in here, maybe? I don't think he's going to be owned. I think the early projections are going to have him somewhat owned.
Yeah.
And I think by the end of the day, he ends up being completely forgotten about. So maybe between Jones and Avdia, we find something there. But I'm okay with that idea, even though it scares me this game will be like 30 points at halftime. All right, next up, Miami, New Orleans.
You have kind of a sneaky Q tag on Tyler Hero, which I wasn't expecting, and we might not know that until later, I guess. And if he's out, then I guess other guys are going to look good. I currently, I mean, you're the one that's going to have to tell me if this is like a Jimmy Butler night. But I'll say this: that on a slate where you need something, those are the slates I think where you're supposed to do something that you wouldn't otherwise do. So maybe Butler's the play. New Orleans, I guess obviously we're going to have to look at Brandon Ingram again and see what's going on with him, with the illness and all that stuff. If he's out, I imagine all those other guys are going to be in play again. If he's in, not too much, but Herbert Jones at 4,800, he's looking like a play here. I don't know. What do you like here?
So I'm trying to, it's obviously going to depend on Hero and Ingram, but assuming that everybody plays as of right now, I'm going to go back out on my limb and just say that look, this is the time. I think the Heat need to keep winning games. Maybe this is not the right game, and he did miss the last three. Jimmy Butler missed the last 3 games. Remember, Sheets, we started talking about him before that when it said then he started to need winning games. He put up 50 after that time, 50, 45, 51, 41, 35, 50, 49 and a half, and 60. That's a very different Jimmy Butler than was averaging 34 fantasy points basically for the first part of the season. I'm going to try to keep banking on that when other people aren't. And when they are, I'm going to probably get off of it. But I think he's a very solid play. It's a very tough matchup, like to play the centers against these guys in general. But like, I guess you could consider some Bam if Hero's out. Obviously Kevin Love if Hero's out. If Hero's out, everybody's in play. But right now I have it just as Butler as the guy. I do think Kevin Love is at least worth taking a flyer on at 3,800. He can stretch out the bigs from New Orleans, and on the New Orleans side, it feels like we're supposed to just play at least 2 of them, probably 3 of them, and I think those would probably be for me right now. For some reason, Jordan Hawkins always projects incredibly at first, and then it dwindles away. But Zion's supposed to be out, so I think Joe Val. But he had Joe Val on back-to-backs is something we were never supposed to do, especially against Bam. So it kind of feels like you're breaking your thing. My guess is that Ingram plays tonight, and we just have a simple answer that we play Ingram. But I think you're going to want at least 2 from New Orleans, no matter what, and that's being conservative. I would go Ingram 1, assuming that he's in. Alvarado or Herb Jones 2. Actually, Herb Jones I probably would have 2. Alvarado 3. Valanciunas 4. McCollum 5. Murphy 6. But all of those guys will be in some form of my lineups tonight. I think that you really want to make this your focus.
Hey, speaking of Alvarado, it has nothing to do with really him, but I forgot to mention something else that I did last night. Dude, it could have, I mean, a different slate, if other guys didn't smash, I had one more rotation. You know, I played again and like ended up with like a full 10% of him, and he was 1% owned. The aforementioned hero, TJ McConnell, he went off for like the minutes that he played. He had like 40 fantasy points in like,
yeah, they won by they were up by like 50 points. So
and I thought they were gonna like leave him in there because they only played like the last 6 minutes of the third quarter and got like everything, like steal followed by assist, this, and I thought they were gonna leave him in there just to freaking just smash. They didn't quite do it though. But anyway, I was gonna ask you about Alvarado, so I'm glad that you brought him up.
Yeah. So that New Orleans, again, minimum 2 rule is going to be probably pretty important for me today, because I do think without Zion, it makes a pretty big difference, and the pricing is sort of leveled out. So you're not getting like anybody too expensive. It's just, and this role for Herb Jones, it's hard to know with Herb Jones. It's like, it feels like when certain guys are out, and I can't quite get the pattern down, because we've seen all of the big guys for New Orleans miss time and having a little trouble tracking that one down, but I'll do a little better by later today. I do have some price. So I like the idea of one of Murray or Trey. I like Scotty Barnes on the other side.
We're not done yet. We have one more game.
Okay. Sorry, Sheets. Oh, so here's the problem. So I think that New Orleans game is actually at 10 Eastern. I don't think that game is actually at 8 Eastern.
I think
oh no, you know what? It was scheduled for 10 Eastern and then they changed it. The NBA flexed it. So that's what happened. It was supposed to be the TV game and now it's not the TV game. That's what's confusing me. Saberson has it at 10. Sorry.
Nonetheless, Bradley Beal, they say, is unlikely to play again for today. And just to let listen, Eric Gordon played a full 35 minutes. And so far, the slate sucks. And 35 minutes if he starts again, I don't know. I mean, listen, it's not the best matchup. Houston plays a little slow, but whatever. Just trying to look for something. Booker played 74 minutes last night, as usual. I don't know if he's going to play 74 again on a back-to-back, but guy can obviously do it. And Durant played 94 minutes also. So I can't imagine they drill them. But listen, if it's a close game, they want to win, right? It's not like they're going to manage them if it's a close game, which probably should be.
Yeah.
So Eric Gordon again, I suppose. I guess Booker's a play. Durant, I guess, is a play. Houston on the other side, not getting too much. Hopefully, maybe some injury will, shape things up over there. But not too much for me.
Yeah, I'll go back to Royce O'Neal. What did Gordon do last night?
Got like 26 fantasy points or something. Like not much.
I'll take Royce O'Neal outscoring him again at 700 cheaper. And I think that that's pretty much I don't have that much interest. You're going to need to spend, so I might end up with a Durant or a Booker.
Right,
But I don't really have any like special affinity for them. I'll put O'Neal or Gordon as the guys I decide between, I guess. But
I mean, unless you get some real cheap value that makes sense, there's no reason to spend on.
But you do have some value though, and it's gonna look even better later today, especially if some of these other guys are out, like the New Orleans situation. I mean, look at how many guys from New Orleans got there last night. It was like 5.
Yeah.
And on the Rocket side, there's the always speculative and sometimes amazing Cam Whitmore, but I kind of feel like just going back and playing Van Vliet at 6,700 here. It's a good matchup. I think that's probably what I end up doing, and I probably end up making him a priority of mine, to be honest with you. I just think that the price is too cheap. I know we haven't seen it lately. It's just such a good matchup that should be competitive on the back-to-back. Keep an eye out for Phoenix after the My advice, it sucks because one of the things that I think has really hurt me is trying to create early content. I try to get my plays, my cores, and everything set up in the morning. And I actually think it's really made me a worse player. So I'm going to start trying to do something different because there's so much news out there, and getting flooded with those thoughts can actually really hurt me. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, I've got my priorities right now as I like the one of Murray or Trey. I like the idea of Scotty Barnes. I like Maxey, Mobley or Garland, Zubac, Koulibaly, Tyus Jones or Avdia, Isaiah Joe, Jimmy Butler, Royce O'Neal or Gordon, and Fred VanVleet, along with 2 minimum New Orleans guys. Actually, I just don't know which ones yet. I know it's a lot of names, but that's the first look, and we'll narrow it down. I'm going to start building my stuff in the afternoon a little bit more often and not so much in the morning, because I do think that I've gotten stuck in a rut of really feeling stubborn about playing certain plays. And sometimes it can work out, but most of the time I feel like it gets me in trouble, especially with the NBA.
Just for fun, I will share with you the initial build I have, my initial lineup I have for the 10 o'clock games. Obviously, like a million bits of news to come out. But I would be getting some of this D. Banton guy for Portland somehow. And I'd be getting pretty much, like, depending on how many lineups I build, like all kinds of LeBron at 9,600. And then Naz Reid against Milwaukee. But listen, obviously, really, was it 9.5 hours to lock, and I don't even know who's playing. So but I did build a lineup in transparency. This is what I built as of now. It has no chance to be this by the end, but that's what it looks like.
I want to point out one thing to our guy Pingalore, by the way. He was absolutely right. He was the first person, and he was mentioned on every podcast, literally across all the NBA sphere, on ESPN, everything. Our guy Pingalore, because he was the first person to say that about LeBron, the Lakers trying to shop LeBron. The Lakers actually had a deal in place, well, a handshake deal in place for LeBron to go to Golden State, and LeBron did not want to go, for what it's worth. Just wanted to throw that out there because we mentioned the later games. All right, guys. Good luck today. I'll get my content up there a little later than usual because I think it makes the content better. And let's get lucky today. Let's make some money and let's get things straightened out. See you guys live at 6:30 Eastern. Sheets, anything else?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Pingalore had like some information on the Delano band.
No, I just want to give him credit. Like, he got kind of crushed a little bit, like by some people. Oh, this is rumors, just rumor. I'm like, well, every GM, it's all come out since then. So I wanted to give him a shout out.
Go Pingalore.
Yeah. It's pretty rare for people who are on our things to be breaking news that's swept across the whole media world. You know?
That's right.
All right. Good luck to everybody. Good luck and have a good day, Sheets. I'll talk to you.